I guess I should be angry. Guess I should be mad. Guess I should feel like I've been had. Somehow I only feel sad. You were the best thing I ever had. I just can't fall out of love with you. I just can't fall out of love with you. No matter what I say or do, I just can't fall out of love with you. I suspect you cheated on me with that guy from Cincinnati. But there'll always be a part of me that refuses to believe. I just can't fall out of love with you. I just can't fall out of love with you. No matter what I say or do, I just can't fall out of love with you. Well, your mom called. Could I take the cat? Well, I guess that means you're not coming back. As much as I'd love to say that's that, I just can't get over the feeling that I failed you. I just can't fall out of love with you. I just can't fall out of love with you. No matter what I say or do, I just can't fall out of love with you. Okay. Thank you very much.
Woo, that was beautiful.
Thank you.
Sad, but great. Very good.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you all. Brian?
I'm behind you.
Oh, you're behind me.
Right here. This is the Literature Cafe Global. We're having a great show. That was just Patrick Michael opening up with some guitar music and everything. Like some good Americana bottleneck guitar. And I'm going to follow up with another one of our acts. Let's see here. Kumar?
Thank you, David. Thank you.
He's going to do about 10 minutes of his poetry to open up before we get into working with Christopher T. George tonight. And I don't even really know what our show program idea is because we went from Edgar Allan Poe to the War of 1812, and it could be a little bit open tonight. But so we're going to go with what comes next, which is really good poetry. Go ahead and bring it away, sir. Prasthana Kumar.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, David, Christopher, Francis, Michael, Rebecca, everyone out here. Thank you, Military Global Care, for the wonderful work you're doing with the sound, music, and everything. And thank you for constant being in this constant touch. Yes, we are united by a stream called Lao. A stream called Lao. This is a poem randomly written on Valentine's Day. Flow, flow like a petal that flows in the streaming river. Feel the pulse of pleasure by holding the hand of love and float in the flavor of eternal fervor. Timeless is the romance, nothing breaks its essence. Just feel the fragrance emanating from the hearts. Reach for grabbing the mystical blues in the endless times of perennial reveries. Float in the glen of exuberance. Experience the season of love, for love has no limits. Rejoice in its bestowed feats. Just flow. Thank you, my dear friends. And the second piece is dreams. Dreams. As the night calls to have a wink of sleep, I lie on the bed to witness my body taking rest. Yet that never happens, as the moment the eye closes, I swim in the thoughts, and sleep slithers for a while to rest. Now, as it returns to get into the to as it returns to get into its world, I feel not myself lying. In fact, I lose my consciousness and get into neverland of reveries, wherein live with seen and unseen characters, playing my role in those unimaginable images. I carry myself watching me in the chimera of vibrant colors, wondering whether it's me myself or rather an alter ego is chasing my essence. That's about dreams. And the other one, which I happened to meet my friend and his father, and I was like carried away, carried by the emotions, and I get carried over and written some, few words in response to that. Now you can't deny the graffiti that says life is a series of memories. That once we are just simple moments. That once were just simple moments, yet leaving profound mark at the back of our minds to cherish for everlasting minutes. As such, honored to bow to take blessings of near to nonagarian, who happened to be my friend's father. We had a couple of exchanges. He went into yore of times with simple livings, and I silently listened to his eyes for raising for the lost past, which reminded me of my own father as I given my hands to walk him across the other side of the roads, which used to be whispering with cycle bells, now busy with blaring honks of automobiles. We greeted adieu as the auto chugged to race past other vehicles in a hurry to make fast bucks that became order of the digital spheres. Thank you, my dear friends. So that was, in meeting, after meeting with my friend's father, and it touched me at that moment. And I would like to share one last piece that is about peace. How important is to have peace. So I just would like to, uh, yes, peace, the utmost essence of their essence to the humans. Strive for the same, and the man gets the rest of the things. Say no to wars. Stop the hatred for other races. Sense no boundaries. See people as one with no colors. As humans, we should seek peace. It's our right to possess. No one should be deprived of this. Peace of movements. That's when one feels the solace. Thank you, my dear friends. That's the peace, the utmost aspect. Thank you, David, and thank you, Brian, Christopher. I love your work. Please do come to the.
Namaste. That was very, very beautiful. And
Beautiful.
this is truly global harmony. All right,
Thank,
next we're going to have 5 minutes of Michael Forman.
All right, so I'm going to
And
get going.
what he's got for us tonight?
So I'm going to keep this very. I'm doing much better. I'm going to keep this very short for those that have never heard my work. It is very much inspired by early like 80s horror and dark fantasy, and I'm just going to do something very short right now. So yeah, that's an example of what I'm trying to do.
That is wonderful. And before we go to Christopher T. George,
I wanted to keep that somewhat shorter for that reason.
How would you describe your sound that you're creating, you think?
Me? I try to go for haunted forest vibes.
So basically, this is when it comes out in the future, haunted forest vibe, guys.
Try to be, yeah.
And
I'm sort of like, yeah, I'm experimental, ambient. Whoops. Sorry about that.
that's wonderful. All right, we are gonna move on now, and we're gonna open up the floor, and we're gonna talk to Christopher T. George, and see if he'd like to read some poetry or whatever's going on right now.
Yeah, you're going to get a presentation from me about my native Liverpool.
We would love that. So this is going to be the Liverpool show, guys.
Yeah, and I'll talk about my family over there and the Beatles. My favorite Beatle was John Lennon, so I have several poems about him. Let me call up my slideshow. Okay, should be able to see that. This is the famous Pier Head in Liverpool with what we call the Three Graces. It's the Liver building, the tall one at the far end. In the middle, a square one, which is the Canard building, and the one nearest is the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board building. I actually worked for the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board for one summer, which I'll get into in a little while. And there's this wonderful statue of the Beatles at the Pier Head. It's one of the best statues. There are quite a number of statues of the Beatles around Liverpool, some of them not of very good quality. There's a hotel called the Hard Day's Night Hotel, and they have some statues on that, and they don't look a bit like the Beatles. And in fact, in 1983, I was at the reopening of the Cavern, and I was got in there by my friend Adrian Henry, Liverpool beat poet, and they had some statues in what they called Cavern Walks. And Mike McCartney, Paul's brother, was there, and he said he looked at the statue and he couldn't recognize his brother. So that kind of shows you that the quality varies a great deal. This is a song. I'm going to sing a number of songs for you. In My Liverpool Home, lyrics by Pete McGovern. In me Liverpool home, in me Liverpool home, we speak with an accent exceedingly rare, meet under a statue exceedingly bare. And if you want a cathedral, we got one to spare, in me Liverpool home. I was born in Liverpool, down by the docks. My religion was Catholic, occupation hard knocks. At stealing from lorries I was adept, and under an overcoat each night we slept. In me Liverpool home, in me Liverpool home, we speak with an accent exceedingly rare, meet under a statue exceedingly bare. And if you want a cathedral, we got one to spare, in me Liverpool home. When I grew up, I met Burchette McCann. She said, you're not much, but I'm needing a man, for I want 16 kids and a house out to speak. Well, my spirit was willing, but my flesh it was weak. In me Liverpool home, in me Liverpool home, we speak with an accent exceedingly rare, meet under a statue exceedingly bare. If you want a cathedral, we got one to spare, in me Liverpool home. Way back in the 40s, the world it went mad. Mr. Hitler threw at us everything that he had. When the smoke and the dust had all cleared from the air, thank God, said me da, the Pier Head's still there. In me Liverpool home, in me Liverpool home, we speak with an accent exceedingly rare, meet under a statue exceedingly bare. And if you want a cathedral, we got one to spare, in me Liverpool home. And this shows the two cathedrals of Liverpool at the right. The Anglican cathedral, built of red sandstone, as we would call it on Merseyside, which is the bedrock of Merseyside, and you would call it brownstone. And on the left, the Catholic cathedral, popularly known as Paddy's Funnel. The Anglican dates to 1904, it was finished. The cornerstone was laid by King Edward VII, and my grandmother and I had an encounter there, the only time that I've encountered royalty. For some reason, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was there, the widow of George VI, the late Queen's mother, and we were coming out of the cathedral, and we were in a tent, and we almost ran into the Queen Mother. So that was the closest I ever came to royalty. But the architect of the Catholic cathedral, which was built in the late 20th century, Gilbert Scott, as you can see, is quite a different design. But there is a street that unites both of them, Hope Street, which is kind of very interesting, with a couple of cathedrals. And part way along Hope Street is the Liverpool Art College, and also what was the Liverpool Institute, where Paul McCartney went to school. And when I went back to Liverpool in 1960, my granddad, who was a bit of an influential man, he'd been a manager for the post office telephones in the Liverpool area. He managed to get an interview with me with the headmaster of the Liverpool Institute. And the Liverpool Institute headmaster, with all these silver trophies behind him, said to me, "Oh, you've been educated in the United States. You're about 2 years behind boys of your own age." So I didn't get in there. I ended up going to the Morrison Rose Lane School, Secondary Modern, instead. And even there, they put me in the lowest class, lower 1B, and I had to work my way up. It was kind of discouraging. But ultimately, I did go to Quarry Bank High School, which we'll talk about in a little while, which also was John Lennon's school. As was indicated in that song, Liverpool was hit very badly during the war. We have 7 miles of docks, and you can see here the devastation in May 1941 from the German bombing. And this poem, City, won joint first prize in the 21 years and over category in the Liverpool International Garden Festival poetry competition. City. This is the battered and broken city. These are its broken dreams. This the broken glass. This the broken brick. This the broken will hiding behind pale skin. This is the wasteland where nothing grows but despair. This is the hand. This is the seed. Plant it. And interestingly, I was living in Baltimore when I wrote this, and the mayor of Baltimore at that time, William Donald Schaefer, went over and toured the garden festival. I didn't have the opportunity to go over at that time, but he wanted to do the same thing in Baltimore. And as I mentioned a little bit later on, Baltimore, interestingly, was known as the Liverpool of the East Coast of America. I saw a number of references to it in documents in the late 19th century, calling it the Liverpool, the East Coast. Baltimore, the East Coast, the Liverpool of the East Coast of America. Get it right. This is that naked statue. It's called Liverpool Resurgent, Liverpool rising up out of the ashes. And as you can see, it's a completely naked man. And a lot of couples in Liverpool met under this statue, which was at the corner of Lewis's department building. And I met my first girlfriend, Pat, there, my first steady girlfriend, and also John met Cynthia, his first wife, there for a date. There's a place called Hilbury, which is on the River Dee. You have to travel over the Wirral Peninsula to get there, and I went there quite a few times with my grandparents. This is from a book-long autobiographical poem that I wrote, going to Hilbury. And sometimes my grandparents took me to Hilbury, an island in the Dee across the Wirral Peninsula. The train from Liverpool, a long green caterpillar, coasting into the quiet of West Kirby Station and meeting the red buffers with a jolt. The doors fling wide and trippers stream out. Wicker baskets, thermos flasks, wads of sandwiches, oranges, fruitcake borne down to the sands, the long trek to Hilbury at low tide, ridges of sand hard below bare feet, squelchy black mud to get through, the chill of clear, cold streams as you splash in them and watch small shrimps and crabs scutter away from you. And this next one is actually made up. I was never on Hilbury Island at Christmas, but this is me imagining myself that I'm on Hilbury Island at Christmas. Christmas Eve on Hilbury Island. Evening descends, the tide's coming in, sealing off Hilbury from the mainland. We've a picnic hamper, a thermos of coffee, Christmas pud thick with raisins and rum sauce. Snow settles in the grass, melts on the tide. Above, on the observation tower, the kestrel eats a bowl. Good King Wenceslas drifts on the wind, interspersed with the bark of seals. And I happened to go there with my first wife. Big mistake. Traps. That last spring together, we bickered under the chestnut blooms of Paris, the apple blossom of Kent. At low tide, we walked in the Dee estuary, walked out to Hilbury, you complaining of the cold, bundled in your yellow plaid parka, while Britons burred their skin among the red sandstone. You snapped me eating a tomato, as if devouring your heart. I wanted you to visit my childhood. Remember, like Barbra Streisand, kiss me in the rain, make me feel like a child again. But we were too far gone for that. You would not come with me to watch the seals in the cold sea off the roofless Coast Guard station. The migratory birds fluttered in the Heligoland traps. You spoke of the connections you found as you lay in the long rain-fed grass, the snatched conversations of couples making love among the sandstone boulders, for you more complete than my rock silence. And I went very often with friends to the Philharmonic Hall, locally known as the Phil, to see this group, the Spinners, again not to be confused with the Detroit Spinners. They were a local folk songing group. This is a traditional sea shanty that they sang, Maggie May, not to be confused with the Rod Stewart song, Maggie May. Maggie, Maggie May, they've taken her away, and she'll never walk down Life Street anymore. For the judge he both guilt he found her, for robbing a homeward bounder, that dirty Robin whoring Maggie May. I won't forget the night when I first met Maggie May, She was cruising up and down Canning Place, with a figure so divine, like a frigate of the line, and me being just a sailor, I give chase. Next morning I awoke, flat and stony broke. No shoes or shirt or trousers could I find. I asked them where they were, and she answered, "My very good sir, they're down in Kelly's pawn shop number 9. Oh, Maggie, Maggie May, they've taken her away. They've sent her to Van Diemen's cruel shore, for she robbed so many sailors and skinned so many whalers. Now she'll never walk down Lime Street anymore." And this is an impression you can see in the background by Atkinson Grimshaw. He was a late 19th century artist, and I very much admire his works. He did a number of dockside scenes and scenes all around Britain. This is quite a famous poem by John Masefield, Sea Fever. Sea fever. I must go down to the seas again, to the lonely sea and the sky, and all I ask is a tall ship and a star to steer her by. And the wheels kick, and the wind's song, and the white sails shaking, and a grey mist on the sea's face, and a grey dawn breaking. I must go down to the seas again, for the call of the running tide is a wild call and a clear call that may not be denied. And all I ask is a windy day, with the white clouds flying, and the flung spray, and the blown spume, and the seagulls crying. I must go down to the seas again, to the vagrant gypsy life, to the gull's way and the whale's way, where the wind's like a whetted knife. And all I ask is a merry yarn from a laughing fellow rover, and quiet sleep, and a sweet dream with the long trick's over. And having listened to the songs that are filled about the sea and read poems like this, I was inspired to write my own poems. So this one's called Death Carved a Cavern. The night that death hurled Atherton from my life, a gale off Cape Horn had us trapped. Huge midwinter seas crashed into the Star of Bethlehem, staggering her. Aloft, Atherton and I, cold and sodden, fought with torn hands to reef the frozen topsail. Hail driving into us, the wind shrieking in the rigging. A violent roll flung us to leeward, and Atherton fell, clutching the footrope as if crucified. "Jesus, help me!" I reached down. The ship lurched, wrenching the rope away. He dropped to the waves, his eyes white, mouth open dumbly. I waded through the thigh-high seas and pleaded with Captain Peters to lower the longboat. He shouted, "Don't be a damn fool, lad." The carpenter and mate held me back. I couldn't believe Atherton had gone. The clipper ran on in the gale. Later, all sail taken in, riding the storm, we held a service. The captain read prayers. We sailors sang hymns. The vomitous stink of bilge water filled the ship. I thought at least on land, new life stirs among the dying. It had been Easter when I met Jim Atherton in Liverpool. Red curls, upright as a mast, tarpaulin hat askew. He bought me port and scouse at the Angel, buoying my spirit. "Aye, you'll become a sailor soon enough, you'll see," he chuckled as he shouldered his sea chest down the Prince's dock. His face red as a soldier's tunic, his green eyes gleaming. In nightmares, I see that face dropping from the yard. In the crew, death had carved a cavern. The irritations of life together faded in the aftermath of his fall. The night was hollow without his rasping snore. I no longer had to save him from his murmured nightmares, shaking the arm tattooed Mary Ellen in a love knot. His bunk in the forecastle remained empty, a patch of grease where he'd lain his head. Off the coast of Chile, the wind dropped, we stood becalmed. Fog slunk across the deck, all sails set to catch a breeze. The ship's bell tolled across the quiet seas. Below, Captain Peters auctioned Atherton's belongings. There was piteous little, everything diminished by death. I bought his hornpipe and tarpaulin hat for Mary Ellen, remembering her weeping black-shawled as we glided out of the dock. "You'll be in paradise, Mary Ellen, you'll see," he'd whispered. "I'll jump ship in California and go digging for gold." Next morning, a dark cloud blew in from the west. We sprang into the rigging to reef the sails. Our labour made the greater, with a man short. I thought who or what would be taken now. I glanced below and saw the cook run from the galley. He pitched something from a basket into the sea. It was the weevily bread that Atherton had grumbled about. The loaves bobbed on the waves, drifting behind us, floating back to where he had fallen. And another one. My sea-worn heart. I've known seas tall as Himalayas, belaying sails off Cape Horn, frozen as hard as iron. I with frostbit fingers. I have dreamt of you, my darling, my one true love, my Mary Lou. Such things I've seen, tropic bites of gas, oceans of temptation where I've fallen, lass. Such ports in hell I've known, devil men too, when I've believed I'll never sail back to you. I've braved the Sunda Trench, the Malacca Strait, hoping beyond praying that for me you might wait. In a fever, I do not deserve your affection, this I know. Sea serpents, shark's teeth, torment me where I go. Forgive me, Mary Lou, I am but a weak and humble man. The sea is in my bones, my blood, it makes me what I am. This is me, 1966, an early selfie. And that year, 1966, I worked down at the docks for the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board as a clerk. Dock boy. I worked down at the old Wapping Dock warehouse, clerking for the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board, clocking the ships in and out, the banana boats from Guatemala, the Guinness boats from Dublin, ships from Brazil mounted with cocoa and coffee, blue funnel boats from Singapore and the Malacca Strait, all entered on rule sheets in turquoise fountain pen ink. Ships in King's or Queen's Dock, Huskisson or Salthouse, freight in and out of the Mersey, ports of which I could only dream. I began my day with a thick mug of tea, a bacon butty, from the Dock Road Cafe across the tram tracks. Shivered when my office mate Angus left the window open, hands blue in woolly gloves, tops of the fingers cut off. Played footy on the muddy cobbles with the dockers at lunchtime to the tinny sound of Yellow Submarine on a docker's transistor that subbed for a goalpost. I am Ian Bloody St. John, number 9, knocking the bolt goals in. Gonna need Clark's elastic-sided boots when I get home, Nan. And this is me in 1967, the year before I came back to the United States in 1968. And in 1967, I worked for the Corporation Cleansing Department, which over here in the United States you might call the Sanitation Bureau Department, removing the trash cans. Friday after lunch, Mr. Cameron, with gaping mouth of herring, enters the office long after the end of lunch, mottled scarlet from the pub. He recovers his littered pew under Webster's methodical glare, while Mrs. Lawson growls with the asthmatic drone of bagpipes. He grins at me, the young apprentice, over half-moon glasses, and I divert quick eyes to desk and lines of refined statistics. Tea time. Mr. Cameron pushes sly fingers into the hole obscured by last year's calendar. Then he splashes steaming tea with scotch. Webster murmurs a sermon as Mr. Cameron stirs up with red eyes, and Mrs. Lawson, smirking, machine guns the room with type. Mr. Cameron sneers at Webster and blasphemes inside his teacup. The afternoon workday slows. Half an hour before closing, Mr. Cameron winks across the desk at me. He cracks shut his frayed ledger, dons his Homburg, and leaves to drink the world away. And I should mention that none of the names were changed in this. These were the names of the actual people in the office where I worked. And although I was never a musician, I thought about what it would have been like to be in a 60s group. So this is a couple of ideas that I came up with. Uke. You learned to play chords on your dad's ukulele, strumming as George Formby uked and crooned. I'm leaning on a lamppost at the corner of the street in case a certain little lady comes by. The toothy comic actor leered out between the first licks you played in your deaf granny's flunk parlour, amid the antimacassars and aspidistras, a cracked 78 on the gramophone. Lanks lad, you graduated from ukulele to Stratocaster, robust as a black pud, a plump blood sausage, sounds sweet as an Eccles cake, raisins and sugar, as you peeled out an arpeggio of notes. Smoky northern clubs, morning stale beer, in city jiggers, ciggies on our lower lips, as under a wet sky we lugged our gear home. Lads who might have been us earlier blinked at us and ignored us, got back to their scratch football. And then this shorter one. Freeze Heath, summer 68. The band's van expires on the abandoned airbase. The transport cafe proprietor, broken-nosed, tangerine-toothed, serves me coffee, the sharp stink of Lysol and espresso. Garth and Uke click dominoes, don't glance up as I stumble out and puke in the yellow gorse. Empty runways, camouflage grey hangars, heathlands stretching in every direction. Ghost B-24s buzz the chickweed cement. I swab my mouth. I've another riff to play. Another song for you. Oh, you are a mucky kid, dirty as a dustbin lid. When he finds out the things you did, you get a belt from your dad. Oh, you have your father's nose, so crimson in the dark it glows. If you're not asleep when the boozers close, you get a belt from your dad. You look so scruffy lying there, strawberry jam tats in your hair. Though in the world you haven't a care, and I have got so many. It's quite a struggle every day, living on your father's pay. The bugger drinks it all away, and leaves me without any. Although we have no silver spoon, better days are coming soon. Now Nellie's working at the loom, and she gets paid on Friday. Perhaps one day we'll make a splash, when Little Woods provide the cash. We'll get a house in Knotty Ash, and buy your dad a brewery. Oh, you are a mucky kid, dirty as a dustbin lid. When he finds out the things you did, you get a belt from your dad. Oh, you have your father's face. You're growing up a real hard case. There's no one can take your place. Go fast asleep for Mammy. This is it's a prose piece that I wrote about the Jambutty, and that's one of my sketches there of elope with the Jam. Liverpool playing in a match against Everton, which I mentioned. One of the supporters, and of course the Beatles at the lower right. Jambutty. I am a Liverpudlian. I come from Liverpool, a seaport on the west coast of England. Liverpudlians, also known as whackers or scousers, are renowned for their nasal accent and vocabulary, both made famous throughout the world by the Beatles. These are so distinctive that it's so hard for some to believe that a Liverpudlian is an Englishman. More than once I've had people come up to me and say, "Sprechen Sie Deutsch?" or the equivalent in Norwegian or Dutch. A noted delicacy in Liverpool is the Jambutty. I suppose it is the Liverpudlian version of the US peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The main difference is that the Jambutty consists of 1 or 2 slices of bread and just the sweet stuff. It may be made with or without butter despite its name. Near relatives to the Jambutty are the chip butty, in which hot French fried potatoes are allowed to blend in with the butter, and the sugar butty, granulated sugar spread on bread. But the main representative of the family is the Jambutty. The typical Jambutty is red and white, usually raspberry or strawberry preserved, plastered on white bread. A typical Liverpool youngster of nursery school age or slightly younger may be seen toddling on the bomb sites of Toxteth or Everton Brow, eating a Jambutty. It may also be noticed that the youngster has jam on his face, jam on his hands, and jam in his hair. On occasions, rivalry for a Jambutty may break out. One child will come up to another, noting the delicacy, and address the luckier chap thus: "Give us a bite of your Jambutty." "You what? Get off." And the little mites run off down the alley, one balancing the Jambutty on the fingers of his upturned hand, the other in close pursuit. When a Liverpudlian gets a little older, he is drawn into the unofficial religion of Liverpool, soccer. There are 2 sects to this religion, namely Liverpool and Everton. A fanatical supporter, beginning with his time in the boys' pen at either football ground, will follow his team anywhere. That is to say, even to the exclusion of proper food, sleep, and the luxuries of life. The 2 soccer teams in the city play in different coloured strip: red for Liverpool, as here, and blue for Everton. A really orthodox supporter will not wear the colour of the rival club. This means, for instance, that an Everton fan will not wear anything red. It also means that he probably would not eat a Jambutty, not unless, of course, the manufacturers found a way to make blue jam. That, I suppose, is the price of individualism. And I mentioned in one of my previous presentations that I went to Quarrybank High School, which was the same school that John Lennon attended, and here he is wearing the same tie which he wore in his last days before he was assassinated. And John, partly because I was born in the same hospital as John Lennon, Oxford Street Maternity Hospital, or Liverpool Maternity Hospital on Oxford Street, just off Hope Street, the street that runs between the two cathedrals, and went to the same school. Also, he grew up in a semi-detached house as I did. He was actually, although he wrote a song called Working Class Hero, he was he was benefited by living in a better household than the other Beatles. The others came more from working class families. And it amazes me, there's a Tudor manor house south of Liverpool called Speke Hall. And in one of his nonsense pieces, Lennon called it Talk Hall. Well, that is owned by the National Trust, which owns a lot of famous historic buildings around Britain. And now Paul McCartney's house on Forthlin Road, not too far from where I lived, and by the way, he was the paper boy for my uncle, who was a musical comedian. That house, which they would call a council house over there, is what you'd call the projects here, and that's now also owned by the National Trust, which kind of boggles my mind. Here and yet not here, to John Lennon. Here and yet not here, the same greaseback hair, the same leather jacket, sweat on the ceiling of the cavern, rocking in the warren, rocking in the womb. Here and yet not here, something else inside, something else driving the gum-chewing Ted, slouched against the smoke-blackened wall, not just a snide word, a mouthful of knuckles, circles and encircling the eyes. We okay? Crazy squiggled figures, words encircling the thoughts, pitched in a leer nonsense tongue, here and yet not here, inside the black leather, behind the hard eyes later, dreams from 1 to 9, a dream of guns stuffed with rags, quiet over the fields of war, here and yet not here, one of 4 singing love to the virgin world, yet the orphan, the poet, the renegade for peace, here and yet not here. This is a portrait of Lennon in his last days, done by Sam Walsh, Liverpool artist, Irish-born Liverpool artist. I actually took a class with Sam Walsh at the Art College at night school. And this is by Liverpool poet Adrian Henry, whom I mentioned earlier. New York City Blues for John Lennon. You do not cross the road to step into immortality. An empty street is only the beginning. The words still flow through you, even on this cold pavement, are heard in some far place, remote from flowers or flashbulbs. In that city, on Gothic railings, dark against a snowy park, still a dead flower, a faded letter, already 1 month old. Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. This empty street is only the beginning. Here, in your other city, riot vans prowl the December dark. Remember angry embers of summer, familiar ghost guitars echo from stucco terraces. Meanwhile, in the valley of indecision, we rehearse stale words, store up expected songs, celebrate sad anniversaries, flowers and flashbulbs, cold pavements. You do not cross the road to step into immortality. At the dark end of the street waits the inevitable stranger. Seeking John Lennon. Depicted on Broadway. Conceptualized by Yoko. Decades after Mark David Chapman blew him away as their limo drew up to the Dakota that cold December night, multiple Lennons parade as the audience searches for the real John Lennon. The night he deserted Yoko for a pack of ciggies, multiple Johns walking the streets of Manhattan, a hooker at 8th and 42nd, jiggies her gold lame ass. Want a date, honey? Dovedale and Quarrybank boy let loose in Gotham and L.A., watching the wheels, riding the rock and roll serpent, uppers, downers, LSD, coke, lifetime spent in purgatory. On his birthday, his second son, Sean, first Wales at New York Hospital. Sean and John, John and Sean, beautiful, beautiful boy. Ocean child, Bermuda. Rhythm guitar captaining his own yacht. Liverpool lad, son of a gone-away seaman. Mum Julia killed by a car driven by an off-duty copper. Lennon in the fog of Liverpool and L.A. John in search of self, drunk and on a bender, old lost smoking pot in the Dakota, only to find himself with starting over, his big comeback. Click of the Charter Arms revolver. Mr. Lemon. My friend Jeff and I attended the concert that you can see on the left there. It was at Alexandra Palace in London. We partly hitchhiked down, and then when we couldn't get another hitchhike, we had to get the train the rest of the way from about halfway. And as you can see, Eric Burden and the Animals were there, Pink Floyd were there, Brian Auger and the Trinity, and the crazy world of Arthur Brown, who had a flaming headdress. 60s poster boy, emblazoned on my 60s bedroom wall, Bond, coolly suave with Beretta in hand, Jane Fonda, breasts bulging as Barbara Ella, Zappa and Hendrix, hairy guys with phallic-necked cigar guitars. I daubed my walls psychedelic tangerine, cupboards orange and maroon. I lived with my grandparents in Liverpool. My grandmother died in frigid January 65, the same time as Sir Winston Churchill. On black and white telly, the Union Jack draped coffin, mourners lining the mall. Later, nights with my granddad and his pals at his lawn bowling club after the footy match at Anfield, where I got a skinful of double diamond and scotch, got home, puked over Jimmy, a psychedelic splurge. And this shows Adrian on the back of one of his poetry books, and also a book with Adrian, two other Liverpool poets that he was associated with, Roger McGough and Brian Patton. And here they are drinking together, Adrian in the middle. Allen Ginsberg in Liverpool for Adrian Henry, 1932 to 2000. You took him to the cavern. He jammed with Trevor, drummer with Farron and the Flamingos, chinged his finger cymbals, played Tibetan rhythms. Everyone thought him the gear, the little Jew with the long hair. You said later, he talked to anyone at all. He walked down Matthew Street like a bloody saint, holier than Ringo or John, a new messiah, serenaded by fab red guitars, with suitcase-size amps, yeah, 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 yeah. and you and McGough were writing bat poems, Batman on the telly, hipper than the Avengers. Had yourselves immortalized in front of Cousin's Bakery, Batman cometh with steak and kidney pies, meaty, tasty. You wanted to paint the arrival of Christ into Liverpool, and here was Alan arrived, the little hairy fella, in front of the pool graffiti. Long live the Pope, King Billy forever, Mick is gear. The breeze off the Mersey lifted his locks as you hustled him from the crack to the fill. Horn of a bibby freighter on the Mersey, more pints and 10-bob notes, ding, ding, ding. He regaled Liverpool as the centre of the consciousness of the creative universe. Next morning, your cat meowed to be fed. At the Fly in the Loaf, Liverpool. Nervous, I crossed the mosaic threshold of a former baker's shop, nudged past garrulous and muscular young guzzlers, ascend to the upstairs hushed eyrie where the poets gather. It's no longer my city, although the street sign Baltimore, hard by the Fly in the Loaf on Hardman Street, Liverpool, recalls my other city, those 3,000 miles away, the Liverpool of America's East Coast, and how Adrian introed me as a poet from Philadelphia. And told of the streets near his Mount Street home, named Baltimore and Maryland, testimony to Liverpool's slavery past. It's no longer Adrian's Liverpool or the slaver's Liverpool. Discurses of ever. Wrap your mind around that. Wrap your words around that, poet. Muscular words to tell of that evening. Arc lamps burning, sweating, drops of perspiration dotting the paper. Now, squeeze the words out. Let the people hear you're here. This is my mum, getting to the end of our presentation here. She was born in 1920, so this is probably in the mid-20s. Family portrait, 1928. All the dear dead assembled. My granddad, benevolent, he's caressing his briar pipe, wears knickerbockers as if he's just returned from the links. My nana, the dark-haired lady, wind-blown in the back. The short, plump, older lady, my great-grandmother, Grandma Potts. How I heard that Grandad lampooned an elderly neighbour as the May Queen, perhaps a sly dig at Granny Potts. In the front, in a frilly white dress, my mother, aged 8, Uncle Jack, my grandparents, brother-in-law, hands on her shoulders. I recall the shame, the heat on the back of my neck, when as a young teen I was told to kiss Uncle Jack, and how he died, how she died. Before she died, Mum told me Jack was a dirty old man. And next to Mum, the fur lad, in short pants, glancing down, shy of the camera, her cousin Frank. I remember the photo of Frank in leather fleece-lined jacket in front of the Lancaster bomber before he was shot down over Germany in 1943. Cousin Frank. I never knew Frank, shot down over Germany. In the silver-framed photo on Auntie's sideboard, he smiled in his flying jacket with lamb's wool lining, about to make his last flight in his Lancaster bomber. On Wednesday, Aunt's Day, I devoured a cold ham salad and raspberry jelly with cream. Then I'd climb apple trees in the jungle in Auntie Mary's garden, Frank and I had the gnarled trees to ourselves. We vanquished the Nazi hordes, then piloted our apple tree raiders as far north as Blackpool to carpet bomb the honky-tonk of the Golden Mile. And this is the church you see on the left there where my parents married, St Anne's Church in Egbers, Liverpool. It's actually a 19th century structure, but it's built as if it was a Saxon or Norman building with that type of architecture. And I was amazed that fairly recently I found out that it had been firebombed by suffragettes in 1913. So this is about my parents' wedding, February 22nd, 1945, while the war was still going on. Chocks away, chaps. Thinking of my mother passing at 2:30 a.m. today, I keep looking at the happy wedding photographs from 75 years ago. All those uniforms, woolen grey of the Royal Air Force, Dad rakish sergeant in the RAF Medical Corps, khaki jackets of my mum's fellow auxiliary territorial service pals, my mum's Joan Crawford plucked eyebrows. Dad pulled her into the seclusion of the limo. And I was an only child, so I was very close, especially to my mum. My dad passed away of cancer at age 64 in 1979, so she was a widow for a long time, finally passing away at age 89, a month short of her 90th birthday. And I was also very close to her elder brother, Douglas. He had quite a life story. He'd been married to a Liverpool woman and then left her and married a German lady, which made him not too popular with the family. But here we are in Cologne, Germany, sharing a beer. And my love of history and nature largely comes from my uncle. Receptacle. You desired to make me your receptacle for all you knew. No child of your own, you meant to pass to be your lifetime's knowledge of history, flora and fauna. So you introduced to me, by its Latin name, a rare speckled orchid on St. Alban's Head, by the side of the hermit's ruined chapel. Named the swirling birds, cormorants, auks, as we hiked along Beanie Cliff, the waters below us twinkling with a million suns. You prepared the strains of knowledge like skeins of wool at a spinning wheel, sheep's wool caught in a cliff-top barbed wire. We slid down the shale to Kimmeridge Bay, seeking fossil ammonites and trilobites, the world's wisdom in a raptor's tooth. Mersey, Mersey me. Mum, you have asked that I cast your ashes in the river Mersey. The muddy Mersey I see broiled behind as you stand wind-blown on the Pierhead landing stage, Seacombe ferry surging to nudge giant tires with a rubbery kiss. The sailors tie the ferry up, the muddy Mersey that flowed down the bottom of our road on Otterspool Prom. Expanse of sun-glinting gooey flats of low tide decorated with ditch pram, kiddie's bike. Scene as I painted in the 60s, that hung in your living room till I gave it to grass-high friends. Mersey, Mersey me. I think of you as I attend a Ripper event in a big white marquee beside the Liverpool Cricket Club, rain clouds sweeping in from the distant Welsh hills over the Mersey's white-capped waves, past the benign cream stucco walls of Battlecrease House, where lived James Maybrick, who may have been the Ripper. Mersey, Mersey me, I think of you as I scatter your ashes. And this is the Liverpool Ferry, and I wrote about it. A year after your death, after a year of death, we have an appointment at the Mersey Ferry at 12 noon. Uriah's ashes repose in the closet in their plastic urn, ready for the final journey across the ocean. Age just shy of 90, she looked so small when I identified her, her personality shriveled, rendered nut size. My heart shrank in turn. Now I will carry her to the muddy Mersey, ready to accept Uriah's ashes, the same river that bore us to America almost my lifetime ago. And this is my wife and I, my wife Donna and I, getting ready to scatter those ashes. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. That is amazing. I feel like we've been to England and back.
That was fascinating.
Yes, I could not stop watching. I had to look up one term, though, and that was lorry, because I didn't understand, and I realized a lorry is a truck.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and it was very, very amazing how a truck can be a small vehicle for carrying things, but there's a lorry because it was based on a flatbed horse-drawn wagon before that in the 19th century. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I in 1967, I showed you the picture of me in 1967. Mm-hmm. That year, I had an affair with a married woman.
Nice. Well, not nice, but when you're young, it's different.
Whose husband happened to be a long-distance lorry driver.
No.
Meaning that he was gone for days at a time, and that made it very convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, it's been a pleasure, and I'm really enjoying doing this show with Christopher, because I feel like we're getting a lot of quality back in the Literature Cafe again.
All right.
And it's good to have you. And I think David wanted to do one of his songs. Did you, David?
Well, I was going to do a couple if you want me to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, definitely.
Fine. We're ready for it.
Lay them on us.
Jam on.
Jam on.
This is some of my synthesizer music that I have. I don't know, it's kind of different, but I hope y'all like it. I think y'all probably will, because y'all are pretty eclectic, so I appreciate that about y'all. Let's see what I got. The first track I'm going to do is called In Bulk. I thought that was a good track because In Bulk happens in February. These are kind of in a series of February shows. So let me get that set up. And then I think I'll finish off with a track called Jig, which Jig is it's about my mother passed away in 2016, and my father a long time ago. So I really appreciated those last few poems. Those are really meaningful to me. Everybody in my family gets cremated, so I just really related to that very well.
Well, when my parents first came here, they were shocked to find out how much it would cost to get a grave and to have a full funeral and everything. So that they decided straight away that cremation was the way to go.
Yeah, that's what we all do. I don't know why. I don't know if there's probably. Yeah, it's less expensive for sure to get cremated. I don't know the full thing about it. All I know is both my grandparents were, my mom was, my dad was, and I expect to be. So it's all right, I guess. Yeah, I mean, with especially these days with so many people, I mean, yeah, that plot in the ground for at least, I don't know, 50 to 100 years, it preserves a spot where, like, you know, only grass will grow. So that's good, I think. But aside from that, I think cremation's you know, an honorable choice to make, you know. So, yeah. Yeah, so this first one is called In Bulk, and it's about just rolling with it, just rolling with the tides in life, I guess. I really appreciated what Prasanna was talking about earlier about, you know, the flow and, you know, just flowing with what's going on, and I really respected that, and that's kind of what this is about. So I hope he watches the video. I'm going to send it to him, so yeah, maybe he'll hear it too, so. walk through. It's the walk through. Try this, broken lives with the rhythm release, and they always wonder who you could be. What you would do, and what you might do, but what you could do, immeasurable. Thanks. Thank you very much for listening, y'all. And then I got one more. This one's kind of it's more like a synth piece, but I kind of sing a little bit. It's called a jig, so yeah. I think I talked about that. So. Futuristic.
That was very good. Hey, David, were you able to cue that thing up I sent you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we have a song here, and this is by Toward Sirius with Skippy Skull Crusher and RBZ with Electric Music. And I currently don't have the title of this piece, but it's not on SoundCloud. So the great thing about it is you're getting some insight into some sound you can't even play right now. So it's great. So you'll be able to hear it on this show. So here we go. We have Toward Sirius, and David Koci is going to bring the song in.
Yeah,
It's one of their new pieces.
I'm going to try to play it off of here. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Cool. All right, then y'all should be able to hear this. Let me know if you can, please, because I think it should go through. But you know how it goes.
We got our fingers crossed on Zoom.
Yeah. So, are we going to play the SoundCloud track, or are we going to play the first one?
Play the one I sent you if you would.
The first one, right? Yeah.
See.
So this is Toward Sirius and RBZ. Okay, that's way too loud. Sorry, everybody. We'll rewind that. All right, we'll try that again.
All right. That was Towards Sirius with Skippy Skull Crusher and RBZ, and that's one of their new songs. And I want to end this show with a poem called Peace, Please, because all this wonderful material we've had tonight. We've had Christopher T. George. We've had Prasanna Kumar. We've had Michael Forman with us tonight with a lot of great experimental music. Rebecca, let's not forget, we've had Rebecca Jane Catherine here. And Rebecca primarily listens and everything, but still an artist. I'm going to end it with this. From Bacchus Pele Productions, this is a book that I wrote. And we're going to have these on our merch March show, which is going to be on the 4th at Betty's Grill from like 7 to 11. And these will have CDs in the back of them, back here. And they're going to be available for $10. So we're come out and buy a lot of musical stuff. So let's get to the poem. Peace, please. Said it's hard to write a love song with a war going on in an innocent land. And it's not easy making soft rock when the warheads are making a boom as they pop off. Said it's hard to write a love song as people hide in bomb shelters that just buried their dead. Said it's hard to really jam when evil people get elected, and it's not easy to understand how we take any freedom and wreck it. And it's past 5 a.m. And it's hard to write a love song with a war going on in an innocent land. And it's not easy making soft rock when the warheads are making a boom as they pop off. Oh, how they live with their ways as they wage a war that's waged. Poverty and loss, daily and mental holocaust. Said, it's hard to write a love song. Thank you. And that has been the Literature Cafe Global. And we're glad everybody came, and we're glad for everybody that's watching. Thank you. And support the Literature Cafe Global across the planet.
You bet. See you all next time.
You betcha. This was awesome. Peace out.
Thanks, y'all. Take care. Good night. I'm gonna stay on one more song.
Definitely.
Okay. So this is just
That was the feeling you could take away from me. To be a part of this, not to worry about what you're going to miss. It's okay, because the ones who control always have something to say. And I don't think I'm going to try to lead the way. Put the fire on the roof. Just know you're not the same. Just know you're not to blame. overwhelms my brain. Knee-deep fire overwhelms my brain.
All right. That was good.
Very good.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Forman, a.k.a. Forest of Torment.